Okay, folks, we are back with Mr. Stephen Woodcock, who is head of trading at TradeNext and a frantic currency dealer. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Very smart? Like
yeah.
me as well. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. We must both be in front of the same judge then.
Exactly, yes. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
In the currency world, we've got one surprise cross that we were just discussing before we came on air. Euro sterling.
Yeah.
Obviously, the German and French economies have been in the news this week in terms of not going into recession. I mean, it's very. I mean, they're in the bin, really.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's just a 0.1 or 0.2% here or there makes no difference. So the struggle continues. But is it right to say that the euro's got stronger against sterling because the market was probably expecting worse news from the eurozone?
Yeah, I think that's probably the crux of it at the moment. I think purely on it isn't as bad as it hasn't come out as bad as they expected. Hence the very quick rally in euro sterling we've seen over the last 2 days. I've got to admit, it's caught me out. I didn't see that. And even this morning, after the German numbers were released this morning, it's still bid. And I'm missing something at the moment, so I'll have to go back and.
Well, no, I mean, to be fair, there've been these. I was trying to point to it, but I mean, there've been these spikes here before. And this could just sort of fizzle here and then back down again. So I mean, getting through 80, I think the 80 level is you've got to be really confident about the eurozone to push it through 80.
Yeah, sure, right? Yeah, and like you say, we have done the free spikes, and obviously there's an overhead trend line that comes through there anyway, and I'm sure it will peter out over probably the next 24, 48 hours.
So would you be trading this, or you'd be waiting, or what's your sort of angle on this?
Well, my angle at the moment on it is,
obviously we've got something like that, as you're sort of hinting. Maybe it's something like that.
That's right, yeah.
But is that? But
yeah,
I'd be waiting.
Yeah, right at this minute, it's still the momentum. It's quite strong actually. Even like I say, this morning I've sat and watched it. It's still holding up very well. And like you say, there's the trend line that you're going to trade off. And I'll be looking to do something around those levels. Right. What I will say is I mean, there's a small. I do like that formation at the bottom there because it does look very bottomy. Yeah. But it's just I'm just anti-Europe. I'm massive dollar bull.
But maybe that's the issue. That it's a crowded trade.
Yeah, of course, yeah. There's, I mean, it held up on those lows quite well, and yeah, I mean, a rally. I still say it's a rally to sell into.
I mean, the other thing is with the Draghi moves and the QE moves, it really doesn't make any sense at all because I mean. That's the thing. I mean, it's a clever. Well, I don't say it's a clever mistake to make, but you would be stupid going against that environment of the euros. They want the currency to be weaker. They're doing everything. They're going to do everything they can to do that. Yeah. And then you're buying it. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense at all. So.
And my thoughts have been on sterling. I got stopped out of my sterling position yesterday at 157.5. I've had it for quite some time, and we're 156.40ish, aren't we?
72. But this is horrible. I mean, this is just it's just like everybody. It's like everybody was waiting here for it to sort of like. If you're bullish, you're trying to buy here, and it stayed there a long time. So it made it look as though it was the right.
Yeah, it made it look like it was trying to base.
Yeah.
And it didn't. It's been a constant. Like I was saying to Moose yesterday, that it's the one where basically I've ignored everything the chart has told me. Okay. And in the end, I got my average down. It wasn't the end of the world. Got stopped out, but it was one of those ones where if you'd have done what the chart told you to do, you'd have been short, and I'm sure people are short. But I just had a gut feel that we were going to hold up above 57.5, and it hasn't done it. So I'm out now. But the guy in the office just said to me just now, he said, "Oh, what are you going to do with sterling now?" I said, "Well, I'm not going to look at it."
And is there any chance that you'd have actually just a full reversal back to 148, 150? Is that something you could rule out? I mean, it sounds like madness, but
it does. I know. I've got to admit, we're looking at these levels here at the moment, which is where we are down to, aren't we?
Yeah.
And but no, for the moment, I'm not going to call 148 or anything like that at the moment because I've just come out of a long position and I got sterling wrong. So, like I say, I'm coming away from that for the moment.
So you don't want to get sort of topped and tailed. You can get topped and tailed on those sorts of things. You get it wrong in one direction, then I'm talking about not not you personally, but that's something that traders do a lot.
Yeah.
That they get it wrong. They get it wrong, and they think, actually, now I'm going to go short, and I'm going to make sure that I get my money back, and then that's the bottom.
Well, no, but with that, what I was saying to the guy in the office just now was that he said, when he said, "Oh, what are you going to do with sterling?" I said, "I'll walk away, stay away from it for the moment." But the only thing I'd do now, I wouldn't be selling that. If you're going to sell that for me, you can't sell it till 57.50 now.
Yeah.
And then, for me personally, if I was doing anything there, I'd still look to buy it because my brain is still in that mode at the moment.
Right.
And so that's why I'm coming away from it, because it doesn't look good. And like I say, I can't sell it down here, so I'm away from it. I'll come away from sterling, and I'll be looking elsewhere. Dollar yen still going higher.
Right, so there's some sort of possible news there of the sort of government. There could be a sort of an election. There could be all sorts of excitement going on there. But hasn't the easiest part of the move already happened there? I mean, this is the low-hanging fruit of going short of the yen. We've had 8-10 yen move. That's enough for the time being. Is something just walk away from that as well.
Well, I my thoughts on this. I've called it up from 105.
Yeah.
We've got a long position well in the money at the moment. So just at the moment, I'm still adding. I still add to this position, and like I said the other day, this last move is the only piece of momentum I've seen in this dollar yen move, and that I'm talking from all the way back from when we were at 80 or 75, whatever it was we were at. This is the first time I've seen proper momentum, and I still think it's going to pick up, and I still see 120 quite easily. And I've got 118.30 as a bit of a level, and this 116.30.40. There is a bit of resistance here, but I still feel when you sit and watch it, you can feel that there's still bids underneath the market. And obviously, I'm not discounting.
Do you think people actually caught short of this, or they just can't believe it's got so much power behind it?
I think what we've had. I mean, how long has it been? I think we had sort of like 8 or 9 years of dollar yen being very heavy and being sold by exporters on any rally that we had. And I think what people tried to do was, every time it made a new high, we were getting, people just thinking, right, export, selling, export. And there was export, but we've taken it out. And, the Bank of Japan have aided the process now. And they really they only started aiding it from 104 or whatever it was. So no, for the moment, for me, that's still going higher. And, there's trendline resistance up at 118.30 to 50.
Yeah.
But 120 is a psychological number, and I that's not the top for me. I still think it's got.
But you can't. Yeah. So in a way, you can't see it sort of slowing. I mean, it's got to almost make a beeline for 120, whatever happens, even if it's just for 10 minutes. It goes there one day. I mean, there'll be a spike to 120 just to take out that number.
Well, initially, I suppose there will be a spike if it does make those levels. But I do think we're going to see dollar yen trading up these levels for some time to come. And
right.
Like I say, I don't think 120. I think it's going a bit further. And the chart just, there's good support now. 112.20, 113.50, and all right, we can, dollar yen on that kind of move, we can pull back 300 points. We won't do any damage at all to the up move.
Right, you were a great fan of. I remember you were a great fan of sterling yen. Is that?
Yeah, sterling yen still. Obviously, with the move we've had in euro sterling, sterling yen's basically sat still over the last 2 or 3 days. But yeah, when it was at 171, I think we saw a 1,000-point rally in under 2 weeks. We're currently 183.5, are we at the moment? Or
yeah, 180. That's all right. That's a sort of almost live price. 182.39.
Yeah, we've been up to one. I think we went to 184 something, but that's still holding up, and I still see that going higher. And just the yen's going to weaken.
So basically, I mean, in a way, if you get sort of like a bit dizzy because dollar yen is so high, you could go in here because it's less overcooked.
Well, it is the one that I did say, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago, that because of I'm a massive dollar bull, and because I thought dollar yen would go higher, and I thought sterling wouldn't really go very far. Obviously, euro sterling moved up, cables come off, so. What I said was it might be better to buy sterling yen rather than cable. Or I had the long cable.
And it's even more the situation now, given that this is just a sort of consolidation. It looks like a mid-move consolidation.
Yeah. Ahead
of the same sort of move again towards.
Yeah, and like I say, just to me that still looks higher. And like I say, I don't discount a pullback, but it's the trend's your friend. Buy the dips and carry on with it. I mean, if you looked at euro yen today, we're much higher in euro yen, obviously because because of the euro sterling move, and sterling yen has pretty much stayed where it was for the last 24 hours, pretty much.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. So,
so this is
now obviously we're approaching that.
But it's going into the Golden Cross bicycle. We're going to Golden Cross for next week, and that just looks like a beautiful. I mean, that's probably for me the best of the lot. But this looks like good fun at the moment.
Well, it is. There's a lot of movement in currencies at the moment. We're seeing a lot of volatility, and the market's quite orderly as well. Even though we've got volatility, the prices are there. It's not hard to trade. And, the charts have been leading the way. I really think they've been doing a good job.
So they're not just for sailors at the moment?
Not for the moment, no. I've had my navigational protractors out, but no, they've been, if you've traded off the charts, I'd say, over the last 6 months, you've made money. Or you should have, put it that way, if you've read the charts right, because obviously it's all down to that.
But it's also over the last month, I suppose, you've had some very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I mean, the last month's been just the best.
Yeah, large pickup in volatility over the last month. And it's, like you say, especially in dollar yen, aided by the Bank of Japan.
And you've noticed that on the TradeNext desk, you've noticed more enthusiasm?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We see more and more stuff going through. And I've been seeing a lot of things like the euro stocky, dollar stocky, dollar Turkish we're seeing as well at the moment, and yeah, it's good moves. Look, the charts are working well, and that generally works. If the charts are working pretty well, we do generally see a pickup in business, and rather than those days where the charts keep, you're above a trend line, you're below it, above it, below it, then that's time to leave that cross alone, isn't it, and move on to something else. We was having that conversation with Moose yesterday, saying about when things, you get a chart that isn't that clear, well, then don't trade off of that chart. Go and look at something else. There's plenty of other crosses to get involved in.
Okay, well, Stephen say your name. Stephen Woodcock, Head of Trading at TradeNext. I've forgotten who you are already. Thanks for speaking with us today and for all your insight.
Thank you very
We'll be
much.
back again after the break, and I'll try and remember who I'm speaking to.